and this is like we mentioned earlier, kind of affecting the point standings now with
Mhm.
Brock getting 2 wins here and Spencer getting 2 seconds, and it's really tightening things up on the modified class for the points. And, we want people to and we want the racers to really value these points because that's really the overall result that we're looking for at the end of the year. Can you win these kind of events? And they're not easy to win because we're doing it between 2 different surfaces, 5 different tracks, as we've talked about before. We've been doing this our 15th season of doing this, but, um, we're pushing the points a little bit more than we ever have, and, we're hoping that drivers are kind of in it for the long haul and wanna win the points side of these things, as well as the individual events. And, we can see it. I know when we put the points up, these racers might not say all the time that they know what's going on, but I know one thing's for sure. Every time we get to the last event, they know exactly what they got to do to win. And
Well, right now, between first and sixth, it's separated by 5 points. So
yeah,
Brock has 200, Schimmel has 195. Him and Chase are tied with 195. So, you know what I realized the other day? This is the only real national, when I say big 10 scale series going on in the world right now, because EOS is just really, when I say series, it's series of races. EOS is just
yeah,
one race right now.
yeah,
I know X-Ray has got their X-Ray series going on as well over there in Europe as well. Well, right now, the INS is the only 10 scale national series with full coverage, points, top drivers from that. I mean, it's obviously heavily USA based because it's taking place in the USA.
yeah.
Right now, it's the only 10 scale series going on in the world.
Yeah, and we're not limited to just roar racers only. You can come here from any country and compete on the indoor national series. So, um, and we have had racers. We know we've had Yona Hatanen and other guys come in and run some of our races, which really added some interesting flair to it. And I do think in the future, I do see some more of that happening. It takes more of a commitment. I mean, it's hard to get like Orlowski to come because I mean he's running the most amount of platforms of anybody right now in racing. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if you told him, "Hey, would you come and run a couple of these?" He'd be like, "Okay." I mean, he seems like he's game to do just about anything, is as long as someone's paying the travel.
Well, yeah, of course. At that level, you need to be paid for it. It's a job. I would
Yeah,
love to see Orlowski come over and do some racing. And I think, like you said, in the future, I think as the I know the media coverage increases and everything goes, and we kind of, like you said, we need these drivers to start taking the points a little bit more serious, not just at the end of the event. We need
yeah,
them to be like, hey, I'm in the points. I'm going to the INS next weekend. I've got this much points. I need to go, and it's a shift in mentality. I think because we're not used to that in the USA to an extent. Where in Europe, these guys usually run a national series for their countries.
yeah.
Especially in and in 10 scale, they have a series of races that they do.
Mhm.
So it's a different mentality compared to the in America, it's kind of one-off races, especially in 1/8 scale, and our national series are just one races. I actually had to explain this to some guys the other day because they thought the Euros was the qualification for the world. It's not. It's just for the European Championship. But it's a shift in the mentality that has to happen, and we have to like kind of pound it into these guys' heads. Hey, the points, the points, the points. Like you may not win, but a top five is good in the long run, and you may skip this race, but you never know where those points might come in handy.
Yeah, if you look at the points, as the thing that just happened with Spencer, with him getting 4th overall, and he was TQ and he won a main, had he gotten 2nd overall, if you would have pulled up the four-wheel mod points there, that would be a dramatic difference for him. So you can see how those positions and points really do make a huge difference. And you go to a race like that, you really have to get the best result that you can get. And like, because he got a 98, including the TQ point there. So if he would have got 2nd, he would have got 100 points. So and you can see what difference that would make in his overall total, right? Like,
Or he would have been in second and
yeah,
2 points behind Brock.
Yep.
instead of 3.
Yeah. So
Maybe maybe if you'd have came to RC1, he would be ahead, right?
correct.
So
But, and it's hard because you have to set a schedule for yourself as a racer doing multiple genres of classes of competition. You're like, "Hey, how many of these am I gonna do?" And I know every single year I have the same conversation with a handful of the guys where they wish they ran more of the races because when they get to the end, they wish they would finish higher.
I don't
When
know.
you get to the end and the points are actually calculated and then the awards are given out, they're like, "Man, if I would have ran one more race, maybe I could have replaced my bad finish." I'm like, "Hey, I've been telling you that."
Hey, you know what you gotta do? You gotta put like a $10,000 purse for the winner. Then they'll attend every single race,
Mhm.
and they come at. But that's a lot of money to put up.
Well,
But
and it's not completely. I'm not saying that's something that can't happen. Of course, we could do that if we wanted to do it, but I would think that maybe it would be something where you'd wanna spread it between 4 or 5 classes, because I think to just give it to the modified guys alone, I think is they're kinda getting a race payout anyway
mhm,
based on the overall result. It would be, down the line, maybe something that could be introduced is you have something like a $10,000 purse, but it's divided between, the classes that you wanna divide it between. So, something to that effect, but, you know it comes with time, it comes with popularity, sponsorships make a big difference. Who's gonna it's one thing for somebody to, come out with, $10,000 out of their pocket and say, "Hey, I'm just gonna give it to everybody, no big deal." It's
there's
like,
some value at that. You need some
yeah,
ROI.
yeah, it's like, "Hey, what do I get for the 10,000 here?"
Right.
But so, that's a big part of the game, but, yeah, it's not something that I think is unreasonable to introduce eventually. Um, but you wanna include as many classes as you can because you don't wanna, eliminate any. And then in a race like this, we have a lot of classes. So it's like, say we have 10 classes or whatever the number is, it's hard to eliminate some. And then if you say, well, let's do it for the most popular classes, then it's going to be stock 17.5 and 13.5. They're probably the largest segment, sometimes 40 plus. And then, if those are the three classes you're giving it to, then it's like, all right, well, the modified guys are, not getting any part of this. So it's hard to decide how to distribute the whole thing if you wanted to do that. And
I
um,
think in terms of growth, though, the more it grows and the more eyes on it and uh, the more recognition it gets. I'm saying it doesn't have recognition.
yeah,
The more popular it gets, the more companies will be like, "Okay, let's do it," and then we'll see some improvement. And but like you said, that comes in the future as well. We need these drivers to really start pumping it now. But it's a mentality switch, and it's going to take some time.
the other thing is that I've noticed is it's hard to tell what your reach really is too, because not everybody either shares or likes what they're watching.
Mhm.
So, like, for instance, I was just at the Euros and so many drivers there telling me all the stuff that they're watching that we're doing back home. It was just mind boggling to me